Welcome back to a happy hour hump day hangout here at the Director's Garage. I'm your host and resident idiot Michael, and well, here we are, folks. We are at a Wednesday, a lovely Wednesday, and halfway through the week. I hope everything is going well for you. Things have been busy around here as usual. I'm going to get rid of these headphones because they drive me. I don't like listening to myself like fold back in the. It's like the echo just like doesn't do it for me. How y'all doing today? Let's see. What do we got going? We've got so a little bit of news came out today. I don't know if you guys caught this or not. This is going to be brand new and hot off the presses, as we like to say, and I'm going to show it to you. This is a brand new headphone just announced like an hour ago, so you know that's the benefit of being live. I don't have to produce anything. And here it is. This is the Campfire Andromeda Supermoon. Campfire Andromeda Supermoon. And it's a planar magnetic design. I'm going to go over here and see if we can talk about it. It's $1,500. Planar magnetic design. It says single body. This is the first I've seen this. I just called this up and threw it on the screen so that we could take a look at it. But it's a single body custom in-ear monitor, single full range planar magnetic driver. It's assembled in Portland, Oregon, blah, blah, blah. Here's some pictures from it. It kind of looks interesting. I don't know. We haven't seen a lot from Campfire lately. They've been kind of in the doghouse because of some shady things about people who reviewed their products. I heard about that. But, you know, another entry into the planar magnetic driver territory in an in-ear, that seems to me to be a pretty interesting thing, and it looks like from the little graphic graph of the frequency response, and I mean, I'm sorry, is this not like one of, that was Holly, by the way, just jumped down. Hey Holly, he wants to go outside. I think the door's open for him. Yeah, he but if you look at the frequency response on this thing, it seems like it's got a little more, whoops, wrong one. Ha! Got to remember which keyboard to touch here. It seems like it's got down here, if you look, it looks like it's a little more bassy than some of the other things. So, but I don't know. Is there any audio? Is there any? Let's see what it does. Ooh, look, it's rotating, folks. You know they're good. No, that's pretty cool. I mean, look at this. There's the planar magnetic-y thingy. It's looking very planar and very magnetic. And it's in a housing, and it's got chrome and black. So, you know, there are worse things. It's kind of interesting. So that was just announced about an hour ago. And I got the email and notification from Campfire. And those are going to be $1,500, and they go on sale. It looks like they're selling them now. It says add to cart. Anybody want to add it to the cart? Find out. $1,500. Anybody got some chump change in their pockets? $200. So that's basically the news of the day. My week. Cheers, everybody. Hey, it's happy hour on a Wednesday, and we're all together again. I like this show. I like it. I like doing this. Hope you guys enjoy stopping by and taking a load off. We got the chat going. Get your questions in. Get your comments in. Talk about whatever it is you guys are excited about this week, and tell me about that. And then, what else? It's like pretty much. I'm working on, like, right here. You can't see it because of the screens, but right here is is the next episode of the Director's Garage, and it's about, I would say, about halfway done. So by the end of the week, you'll have a new episode out, provided everything doesn't like completely fall apart in my world. I have only one shoot between me and the weekend, but I've got a bunch of writing to do. So it's going to be it's a writing week for me around ET, and that means turning over stories and coming up with clever ideas and ways to tell them and whatnot. And we're going to turn the phone dinger off so we're not interrupted. Let's see. Let's go down. Cheers, all. Yes, cheers. Cheers. Looking at the chat real quick. Mr. Oh, man. You ever see a guy die? Did you ever see a guy die on camera? You're about to. That went the wrong way. Drinkus interruptus. All right, Hifiman has a new Bluetooth planar. Well, there's the Diva from Hifiman. It's been out a while. They have the new R9, which is not a planar. It's a dynamic driver, and that's a Bluetooth as well. So let's try a little bubbly. Let's see if we can keep ourselves from choking. What are you guys drinking? Give me an update in the chat. Fill it in. We've got... So I just saw the Campfire thing. I thought that was really cool. And that's really the only headphone news. The problem is everybody loads up for the Can Jams. And we just had Can Jam Singapore, where a bunch of new stuff got released. So we're kind of in that little lull state right now. That was... So there's not a lot of new stuff coming out, and that's okay. I mean, we have to enjoy our stuff. I don't have a lot of time to headphone listen though, but lately, and that's been the problem. Like one of the show that I was going to do, the show that's coming up next after 103, which is the next one in the run, is going to be more of an in-depth listen, and that takes time because I don't just like listen for 10 minutes and spill out some thoughts and do a show. I actually spend a couple days like going through them, and if there's comparisons to be done, I try to do those, and I actually take time. I don't just like to throw things together. I think that's the one thing you'll know about my show from watching it is, yeah, it's goofy and it's quirky and it's a little off the wall, but it's not thrown together. That show doesn't happen by accident. It's very intentional. So everything I do on the show is, I have a lot of time and effort put into it to get to the state of where you guys get to see it. So, I don't like to just throw something out there. So I wanted to do the DT700 and the DT900. Those are the two new Beyer dynamic over ears, like in that sort of like $299, $399, something like that. So I wanted to do an in-depth review of those, but it was going to take too much time for me to do a formal listening session and formulate thoughts and get all that down in order to get that into a produced episode that would be watch-worthy or view-worthy. So that's going to come in the next episode because I'll have a little more time. The good news is I finished the taxes, and that's the thing that's been sort of lingering on in the background over all of these weeks here, which has really been holding me up from getting production done and churning out episodes like I was, say, 2 months ago. I have all these things to get done, and the main one is taxes, and the second one is cleaning the garage, and I got started on that this week too. The director's garage of the garage of the director's garage is hardly usable as a studio right now because there's too much crap in it. ML Jenkins, yeah, I must have meant the R9. Yeah, that's the R9. The R9 is is a dynamic driver with nano coating something or other on it, and it's they put fairy dust on it and send it out. It's like their top of the line new dynamic driver. They're calling it like the best ever. The best dynamic driver ever, says Hifiman. Well, stay tuned to the director's garage. You might be surprised. You never know. But that sounds to me, it's a headphone that I definitely want to hear. That's for sure. And it's got that classic Sony design to it. It's got let me call it up real quick. Because we can, not because we should. But no, if I'm talking about it, we should see it. So I'm going to call it up real quick on the big screen here. And that's at hifiman.com. And we can go to it pretty easily. Hey, go back to that other one, dude. No. Care to show it to me? It's in their premium line. It's not in their high-end line. And it's right here. Here it is, the R9. $599, and then it's more if you get the Bluetooth. So it's that Sony design, right? That's the old Sony. I forget the name of it, but that you know, that's where it comes from. That bowed out thing, and I think there's been a couple of companies that have mimicked that cup shape in the last year or two. Looks kind of interesting, but that's yeah, and that's the new one, and that's see if there's a couple other angles on it. Man, Hifiman's got a weird website. It kind of jumps around, but yeah, it's a dynamic driver, the best sounding, folks. The best sounding dynamic driver. Make no mistake. So says Hifiman of their dynamic driver headphone. You gotta love sales. How am I liking the... This is Johnny Utah. Cheers, Johnny Utah. Welcome to Happy Hour Humpday Hangout at the Director's Garage, the 4-H Club. And how am I liking the Ferrum Stack? Yeah, I love the Ferrum Stack. And I particularly like the Abyss 1266 TC with that amp. I think that pairing is magic. There are some magic pairings, you know. I think that they just go real well together, and that is one of them. That changed that headphone. Oh, look, somebody's decided to land a helicopter in my backyard. I'm gonna close that off. I live in the flight path for Burbank Airport, folks. It's never quiet around here. Any plans to try any other amps with the Susvara? Well, I would like to try the Bakun 13R. I don't know how I do that. It's a $6,000 amp. I've been keeping my eye open on Headfi, and they're gone before they even, like, you've got to be literally, like, clicking in as it's going for sale, because in 30 seconds those things get bought out, you know, anytime one comes up used. So it's a matter of luck for that, and timing, and do I have the money sitting there for however much it's going to be. I assume you're going to get like $4,500 for it probably. So you got to have that money on standby and set aside to make it work. And that's one. Oh, Holly wants in now. Come on in, buddy. It's not a show unless I leave camera. Hi. Hi. You want to say hi to everybody on around the world? That's Holly. And we know why we call him Holly. Now look, you're on camera. Look, buddy, look in the camera. Oh, he's a good boy. He's a good boy and a killer. Brought me like 4 mice this week. 4 of them. Yeah, the Bakun is one that I want to get in. I want to get I don't know. You know, the problem is like the Burson GT. That's a great amp. I'm sure that's a great amp, but I'm so close to what I'm doing with the Ferrum with that amp. So does it make a lot of sense? I mean, maybe I'll do it just to try it, but you know, the deal's got to be right, all that stuff. I don't know that it's tough for me to justify, like, hey, I'm going to spend $2,300 and I'm not going to get another headphone, because the headphones are what draws you guys in to see the show. So, and the amp episodes never do particularly well. So, we'll see. If it's a hot, you know, if it's a hot product, you know, maybe I can justify it mentally. I don't know. Maybe not. Okay. Rob Hawk says, what will you buy with your tax refund? Rob, around the Director's Garage, we don't get tax refunds. We always owe. I'm lucky that way. Yeah, we're always like break even, or if there is anything left over, it goes towards next year's taxes. Nothing exciting there. New Noble IEMs, perhaps. I really want to hear the Kubla Khan, and those are, I think you can get them for like 2,200 ish, somewhere around there. They look really good, and it's John's latest creation. You know, the Viking is his, shoot the moon product. This is like a mainstream product that's probably going to be pretty darn solid, Holly left again, and I don't want to hear the horns honking and airplanes landing on my deck. So yeah, maybe. I don't have a clear path right now. I've got some things that I have set up in line for the next few. We're going to be doing some more over ears. I can tell you that there are some new over ears. There's a new over ear coming in the next episode for sure, and 2 episodes down there will be another over ear. So I'm kind of in the over ear lane right now, and I'm definitely playing around with Audeze stuff. I'm very interested in kind of running through their line a little bit more. Just like in the fall, I was doing more Focal. I did Focal quite a bit. So I'm sort of been doing a little more in the what you call it line. The line just I'm so spacey. The Audeze, or Audeze, if you're me. the Audeze line. Zare, welcome Zare. Cheers to Zare, everybody. Let's all drink a toast to Zare. Welcome to our Hump Day Hangout. I hope your guys' weeks are going well. What are you guys drinking? What's on your mind? What have you been watching on TV? Tell me something about what's going on in your world. Love to chat and just exchange some ideas. When Zare says, when I saw that design, the Hi-Fi Man at Can Jam, I thought the thing looked silly. The cups extend out way more than those images portray, so it looks like air extensions. I can see like a case for Mr. Spock. We can go back to that real quick. Why not? We can, because we can. And that's... Yeah, you notice how they don't show them on anybody's head. That's kind of funny. Yeah, they're only on the stands because they don't want you to see what they look like on a head. Oh, there's the Bluetooth module. See that down there? See that little horseshoey looking thing right at the bottom of the screen? Or now I'll move it up to the center because I can. That's the new Bluetooth attachment, and that goes like right into the cup, the bottom of the cup where you would put a cable, which makes me think that they're also cableable. Yeah, there's the cable. So you can put the cable in there, or you can put the Bluetooth module, and you can go wired or unwired. And I like having both options. I think that's clever. I wish more headphone manufacturers would adopt that. I think that's a great idea. So yeah, that's a great thing. Mr. Number One here, a 6K amp for a 6K headphone. Goodbye financial stability. Now you're talking to the king of financial instability. Look at this show. I did a $50,000 headphone shootout, and I've got a bigger one lined up for the next one as soon as I get around to shooting it. LSD5, it's that good. Well, now was that that's from Mo Carver. Mo Carver, is that a Freudian slip, or did you mean the LCD5? Because I think the LSD5 might be a better experience. But you guys. It is Wednesday, folks. It is Wednesday. We're enjoying our lives. Yeah, isn't that something? Audio Fool literally just pulled up in the driveway, and the FedEx guy at the door with a Susvara. Oh, that's a good day, my friend. Audio Fool, cheers to you. That is a good day when you get when the Susvara shows up on your door. What are you going to use to drive it, Audio Fool? What do you got? What amps you got in home? He probably left. he's doing a lap around the house with the, with the Susvara over his head. Woohoo! I win! I just won Wednesday. That's awesome. The Fairmore sounds great with the Susvara without the hypsos. Somebody said, I called it hypsos, and then somebody corrected me and said, Michael, it's hypsos, like hip. And I said, I think it's a stupid name. Because it is. It's a dumb name. No, that's just not, no. Not going to happen. That is like one of the worst named products of the year by far. That's something. Yeah, but it does. I haven't listened to it without the hypsos, but it's a great stack. It's the best sounding thing I've heard the Susvara on yet. I still think, though, there's more out there. I think there's better out there for the Susvara. I don't think there's better out there for the Abyss. The Abyss, it's just like everything clicked with this pairing. And it even got better when I started messing with the hypsos and turning the power up. And like at about 25.5 volts, because there's a voltage controller on that. It just like all of a sudden, it just dials in that Abyss. And, there's a part of me that that's kind of like, I want to hate Abyss on some level. I really do. I mean, I'm not, it's like there's something just abrasive about their business practices and everything, and I probably shouldn't say that, but I'm going to say it anyway, because we're just talking about it. But, I gotta give them credit. The TC is an amazing headphone. It is an amazing headphone. And maybe the Diana V2 is that good too. There was a lot of hype around that headphone when it came out. Is it Abyss's best headphone? And I haven't heard it. I know that I really don't like that sort of curved cup design. It doesn't do much for me. I like a cup that keeps the stuff off my ear. That's just my personal preference as far as feeling. But, does it sound better? I guess in the end of the day, that's all that matters, right? Tonky Tron asks, I got the Wrapped Go hook in yesterday. It has a bone driver. That's my favorite driver in the headphone industry right now, is the bone driver. And that's the bone driver is in the we were talking earlier about the Noble Audio, the Kubla Khan. The Kubla Khan has a bone driver in it, which is another reason I want to own the Kubla Khan. Mo Carver said intentional, the LSD5. The LCD, the LCD5, it's funny. When the LCD5 first came out, it was the most hyped headphone of the fall. No question. Like, there's no question. And it was so good for Audeze to deliver a product that made the world stop for a month. Like, there was nothing but the LCD5 for a month. And then the reviews started coming in, and there were some complaints about really the clamping pressure on the headphone, and that the sound didn't like elevate in the like sub bass a lot and stuff like that. And so like the wave crashed over, you have the tidal wave of anticipation, and then that wave sort of crashed over. And if you looked on HeadFi, like at least about a month ago, I don't know if it's so much so now, there was a flood of LCD5. Everybody going, oh, this is, I'm over this. The hype is gone, and whatever. I think though there'll be a third, like now that we've kind of done the undulation, I think there's going to come a day when people really start to appreciate that headphone for what it really is. And what it really is it's like a great pair of near field monitors. And I believe that to this day. There is something really special about how cohesive that headphone stitches sound together. Like there's nothing falls out of place. That headphone is just amazing in its reference level. Like it's like it's reference done to the extreme in the very best possible way. And I think that, you know, yeah, there are bass heads that are going to be like, you know, it still doesn't have enough bass. I get that, but when you start listening to the bass on that headphone, the texture of the bass, it's one of the best detailed basses you'll ever hear in a headphone, and I still believe that. So I think that, you know, we went through the wave of the anticipation and the hype, and then everybody kind of got over the hype, and it sort of like crashed, and everybody just like, I'm done with it, you know. And I think you're gonna start to see the real appreciation start to filter into the market. I think people will really enjoy that. So I think that's a headphone that's going to be talked about. I still think it's a headphone that we're going to be talking about in 5 years, as much as we are any other headphone. You know, like we talk about the HD800 still. That's still a relevant headphone today, which is astounding. It's an incredible hats off to Sennheiser that they produced a headphone that we still revere today. And there are many of them. The HE6 from Hifiman, the HE1000 V2. I think in some ways people are still more excited about that than their follow-up, any of the follow-ups. Like the V2 was a special headphone from Hifiman. So I think that those, you know, there are those headphones like that. And I think the LCD2, the original LCD2 was that way too. So I think that's what the LCD5 will be after time passes. That's my feeling anyway. Talked enough about that. Michael, glad you're digging Polish hi-fi. Okay. What's Polish that I have? Am I missing something? Hi, guys. Hi, Mario. Mario, cheers. Cheers. It's a Wednesday, everybody. What a great day. In LA, it's a beautiful day. We got great sunshine outside. Little cloud cover in the morning and whatever. It's kind of in that June gloom kind of thing. We do this thing like in June, when you get it to May and June, in the mornings, there's like, because the ocean is still cold, it hasn't warmed up. I'm going to give you a meteorology lesson, because what else can I do? The ocean is still cold from the winter. So when the sun heats up, you get fog. You get a lot of fog in June and May, and in the mornings everything's usually fogged over. And if on really bad days, it gets over into my area in the valley. So the valleys it's been like gloomy until like about noon, overcast. That's what happens. It's called June gloom in LA, and an earthquake notice that in Panama there was an earthquake. I have an earthquake notification on my phone. And that's just because I live in like the most like the earthquake zone. Audio Fool, thanks, frickin' stoked. All right, need to upgrade my amp. What are you using for an amp, Audio Fool? What do you got right now? Oh, the Vioelectric. That's it. I haven't heard the Vioelectric. I hope. I'm sure it's gonna. It'll at least drive it. At least check them out. Get the cans first. He had no choice but to upgrade the rest. You're right. Yeah, you're caught now. You're stuck. You screwed yourself. Welcome to the club. It's a curse. It's the curse of up. Now you're on the upgrade train. Now you gotta match the amp, and then and then you got to get the right headphone stand, and you need to get and then you got to start playing with sources, of course, and DACs. You're gonna need a better DAC. You can't just go with It never ends. Bobby James Faison. A week with the Focal Clear MG and Silver Dragon cable, and is used Utopia. He's out of the chase. I have not. I haven't demoed the Clear. I did. What did I do? I did the Utopia, obviously. I did I still have those. The Stellia, which I was not impressed with. And then I did the Radiance. The Radiance? Yes, the Radiance. That was the Grey Poupon one. And then I think I had the blue one in here too, whatever the blue one was. The cheap blue one. I auditioned that one too, and I thought that was okay. I didn't think, as I recall, maybe I just demoed the blue one. I don't know. Did I do an episode on that? I did. With 103 episodes, you forget, and when you're 55, yeah, you just you totally lose stuff. But cheers, if you found something that works for you, that's the game. That's the game. My problem is that because I'm doing this show, I can never be happy. Again. Rob Hawk says, would you take futuristic headphone implants if they were charged via micro USB? Headphone implants, like when I get surgery for headphones? No. What I would get surgery for is if somebody can cure tinnitus, because I've had tinnitus for years and it is annoying, and it comes and goes. It gets better, and it's like I'll have a good week and I'll have a bad week. It's just incessant ringing though. You can't get rid of it. It's like you got cicadas in the room 24/7. It drives you crazy. I hope nobody ever gets it, because it's really miserable on some level, and then you learn to ignore it and turn it off. Let's see. Patricia Barber's excellent on the LC5. Yeah, I mean, any of that reference stuff, and any of it is fantastic. Hypsos is of Polish descent. Of course. How could I forget? How could I forget? I thought it was Nordic, though. I don't know why. Ferrum Audio. Let's look it up real quick, guys. Ferrum Audio support. It goes right to the support page. You know where I've been going. No, I'm just kidding. There's nothing bad. About us. About us. Let's find out. Hypsos. Creative. It's all important. Aesthetic. Oh, see, this is all BS on this page. All right. No, never mind. Poland. You're right. Poland. Hats off. Where'd my chat page go? I just lost it. Don't mess around on the chat page, guys, because I really need to see what you guys are typing me to make this whole thing work. This whole exchange of ideas. The stream live. There it is. Hey, but didn't stall out the the stream. So yes, you're right. The Hypsos is indeed of Polish descent. Good Pixel Production. Thumbs up, everybody. Yes, please hit the. Now's a great time, as long as we're sitting here and just shooting the crap. Hit the thumbs up if you would, folks, and you can do the like and subscribe thing and all that stuff. And I'll just do the plugs real quick, because we can't. You know that this show has a discount code through audio46.com. If you go there and you're checking out and you type in the coupon code thing, Director's Garage, all one word, at checkout, you can save an extra 5% on anything you buy there. Well, no, not anything, because there are some companies that won't work with Audio 46 on pricing, and I think that Grado and Campfire are two of those companies that will not deal at all on the price, so they can't pass along a savings to you. So that's why that it doesn't always work. However, every time you type in that code, you do support the show, and since I don't do Patreon or any of that other stuff, you get yourself a nice headphone, and you support your director of the Director's Garage. Your resident idiot needs a little love now and then. Also in the links below are Amazon links, which you can click on those, because those are helpful. And it doesn't charge you any more money. It kicks a little back from your sale back to us. And since I'm not doing, like I said, I don't do Patreon, I don't do memberships, any of that. Maybe I will someday, but it's just, I mean, I'm trying to get the shows out. And you've seen how much I've been struggling to just get the episodes out lately. Yeah, we want to keep the show rolling before I start trying to charge people money for a show they're not seeing. So much fun. And then Linsol. We also got a thing with Linsol. Lillian Dang was the first one to step up and send me some headphones from her store and said, check these out. And then I got done, and she said, keep them. And I went, wow, that was really generous. So I wound up giving those away. I give away everything that Linsol gives me, except for that one pair of headphones that she gave me that looked like the ladies edition, like they should be going listen to at the ladies' tea. Those pink polka dot IEMs, those went to my wife, and she was happy for it. But I got my Critical Dusk back in the bargain. So, and the Critical Dusk is a hell of a headphone. Zare says, I remember you seem to have brought up that you have a lot or a wall of vinyl. Yeah. Do you prefer listening to those over digital? Is it even worth it? The convenience of digital cannot be undersold. In my opinion, the convenience of digital cannot be undersold. The fact that today, this is the dream, like when we were kids, you can just go on a thing and type in a song and it's playing instantly. Any song you can think up, I can find in a few minutes, like in, anything. Like, give me the fourth song off of the third album from the Animals in the 60s. I don't even know what the album was. And I can I can figure it out within 30 seconds. I can be listening to that third song. And that to me is astounding. And so you cannot discount or undersell the convenience of the entire canon of music, of recorded music, at your fingertips at a second's notice. That's special. There is a process to listening to vinyl. And it starts, you're going through the collection and you're looking through your records and you start, it just sparks ideas in your head of what you might want to hear. Or, didn't I have a record by the guy who played drums on this track? Yeah, I do. What's that? And you start like looking through the records and, there's like a connection to the music that you don't get because there's not a physical form. So, and then you get the record out, and if it's dirty, you got to clean the record. And I've got a record cleaner, not the best one ever. It's a VPI. It works well enough, but they got the new ones that do the microwave. Oh, that came out bad. You don't microwave your records, kids. It's the ultrasonic cleaning, or the microwave cleaning. Depending if you're here, if you're drunk on a Wednesday from iced tea. Don't microwave records, kids. Although I did once bake a record to try and flatten it. And I have a special little gizmo for flattening records there. We just went down a rat hole. And welcome to it. So you clean the record and then you bring it over and you set it. I mean, you can't. Things are kind of buried back there right now, but you put the record on the platter and you tighten down the clamp and there's a lot of anticipation about the listening process with vinyl. And then while it's playing, you've got this artwork that you can look at if you want to. If you're not just, if you just want to sit back and put your feet up and listen to some. And so there's something to that. Now, there is a warmth to vinyl, yeah. And there's something to an analog sound. I'm a little over that in some ways because of tape. Reel-to-reel has come back in a major way. And as you know, I do like reel-to-reels too. Pardon me. Got a burp because I'm drinking soda. It's bad for you. And we do it anyway. What beers are you drinking? Somebody better be drinking a beer out there. Please help me out. I got to actually go back and write after this live stream. I've got to finish up a script. But in the meantime, we're just going to go through stuff. But there's a warmth to the back on point because my mind is scattered. There's a warmth to vinyl that, yeah, it does sound great. But then if you're after an analog sound, tape, guys, reel-to-reel tape is, and it's so expensive to get into. Like, it's so cost prohibitive. It's like you're in the elite club when you start dealing with reel-to-reel, and I've got some reel-to-reel here, and I'm telling you, it's like next level. It solves so many problems. First of all, reel-to-reel, you don't have pops and clicks. You don't have the problem of as you know, the best part of the record is the outside of the outer tracks. Those inner tracks don't sound as good when the needle gets down to the middle. The audio quality isn't as great as when there's a lot of physics reasons for it. It's the way the spinning and the amount of grooves that runs past the needle at that point. But on the outer edge, it's a much better sounding. Your first two tracks are much better than your last two tracks on a record, and it's part of why some albums are done at 45 RPM, because you're putting so little material on there and you're spinning more information over the needle. You actually get a cleaner recording, a cleaner output from a 45 RPM record, which defied the logic of my youth, because we used to play the crappy 45 singles, and boy, did they sound way worse than an album, than an LP. But there's a lot of other reasons for that. But yeah, it's tape. Analog tape is to me, that's the gut, because most of the music I care about was recorded on analog tape. You know, most of the music up until, you know, even up until, you know, there were a couple of albums in the 80s that were recorded all digital on digital tape. It was digital tape too, but you know, digital. And then once we got into the 90s, then they started doing things, you know, entirely digital, and that changed music forever, I think, for the worse, personally, and not for the technical reasons, because it made people a little lazy. You can do things suddenly much easier, and the performance suffered because you don't. You can just fix it. Whatever it is, I can fix it now, you know. You don't have to get the performance perfect, because you can redo it in post. So, and I think there are still some groups that, you know, pride themselves on doing still doing live performance in the studio, and like, they don't go back and fix stuff. They just play it until they, you know, do it until they get it right. But I'm getting like off on sidetracks like crazy today. I don't know what it is. It's probably just I've got so much going on here. But so to me, analog tape is the ultimate format. So yeah, records, you know, I still like the physicality of pulling the record out. And you do that a little bit with audio tape too. But tape all comes in a case, and there's not like the liner notes. Some of the more high-end tapes do have the liner notes and stuff, but it's so clumsy. I'm not going to sit there with a big box and go through it. The way an album is, like, you know, it's like the photograph, and you're holding the photograph as the record's playing. There's definitely that physical connection, whereas the tape, you got to thread it up, and once it's threaded, it's going to go for the whole thing. And there is something cool about threading a tape. I mean, these tape machines are gorgeous, and they're fun to play with, and I've had a bunch of them. But the sound is that's the best analog sound. Did that answer the question? No. Such an idiot. Why do you guys watch me? Yes, Poland. Yes, the Poland, going back to the Ferrum. ML Jenkins. So his music journey has taken him from headphones to stereo. Have you experienced any twists in your journey? Oh my God, watch episode 2. The Director's Garage. I go through all the different crazy ass formats I've been through, and that's just on source material. That doesn't include, you know. Then the nice thing is that when I got into, I thought somebody came up. When I got into the 90s and the late 90s, and, you know, I really started having a career. I bought a really good pair of speakers, floor standing speakers. They were Vandersteen 3s, and I had them upgraded once to 3 signatures. When they came out with the signature line, they just took them back, put the latest whatever in them, and sent them back to me. And I've never felt the urge to upgrade since in floor standing speakers. They're amazing speakers even today. They're terrific sounding speakers, and a bargain price. Richard Vandersteen just knows what he's doing, and I have one amp that I've had since the 90s, and I told you the story about that. It kind of blew up in a puff of smoke, but it's getting fixed. So that's going to be back, and everything's going to be back to normal. I like the sound of that system would someday, if the Director's Garage gets 1 million episodes, would I do some stereo stuff with, you know, if I could get Vandersteen 7s in here and say some Dan D'Agostino amps, those are my guys. Yeah, hell yeah. You know, that would be really cool. But that, you know, you're talking kilobuck, 10,000s of kilobucks. So but watch episode 2. It's like a walk through all the different crazy ass formats that I've embraced over the years. And we were talking about mini discs last week. You know, I just was cleaning the garage and there my big box of mini discs. That was one of them. One of the many turns. Nephilim 81. Cheers, Nephilim. Good to see you. Nice to see you guys here. Cheers, everybody. We're halfway done with the week. We're halfway done with the Director's Garage live stream. I hope you all are having a great Wednesday. I mean that. Michael, I'm most likely going to buy from Audio 46 when I decide to pull the trigger on the Final D1000. You're right about them. Yeah, they are. Okay, I mean, it's shameless. I know, like, somebody out there is like throwing shit at their screen right now. But I'm sorry. I don't make any money on this channel. And I talk about it here and there, but spottily. But I don't harp on it, I don't think. So anybody that helps the channel out, I'm like really grateful to. And Tony was the first guy to reach out to me and said, you know, hey, I like what you're doing. Well, he's the second guy. Linsol was the first, but Lillian Dang over there. But Tony reached out to me and said, hey, I really like your show. It's really quirky and it's really fun. You're doing an interesting thing and we want to get involved. And we've never had a partnership work out for us. So we'll try it, but, you know, we don't have. And then y'all supported Audio 46 in droves. And that's amazing. That's so cool because they're just a small company. They're small. If you ever go there, they're a. I haven't been there even in person myself, but it's a small operation. It's a small New York City business trying to make it, or the rents are freaking insane. And he's selling headphones. So, you know, good luck. It's not like you're in Japan where headphones are a culture, you know, a way of life there. So he's making it in New York. Downtown New York. That's amazing to me. That's just amazing. What a great company. So I have no problem. And anytime I've called there, it's like, I got a problem with whatever. They're like, yes, right on it, right on it, right on it. I mean, they're just amazing folks. And I'm sure there are other places that are great too. I don't want to disparage. I'm just saying this is my experience, and they support the channel by sending us cool shit to review. What am I going to do? You know, give me a say. So yeah. Dominic Green, forgive me if I missed it, but did you get a chance to test drive the Audeze LCD XC on your tour? Yes, I did. Love to hear my thoughts. I was impressed. I was very impressed by them. That headphone is, you know, the other headphone that blew me away on that tour was the LCD 4. And everybody's like, you know, like, oh, it's the old technology. I'm like, I like the way that sounded. That really was impressive. And they had a room of amps there that was just like drool worthy. I'm telling you, it was like, I hope if I get back down there, and I probably will because we left on very good terms. I would love to shoot video and like show off some of the amps they had there. Were just crazy amps. Really great stuff. Fantastic for, you know, and they got to test out their headphones, you know, they got to put them on different things and hear how they sound. So, but it was awesome. It was like, what do you want to hear them with? So they were pulling out that. I had heard the XC and I heard the other one, the LCD4, and the XC it like met my expectations. The LCD4 exceeded my expectations. That's was really cool. And that was the Z model, and I hear that the 4 is even more impactful, like the original 4. So that kind of has me like, I've been eyeing it, and I know it's a dumbass purchase because it's an old headphone now for the purposes of the show. And I'm a big dumb guy. I do big dumb things, but that's one of the things that I would actually consider, is if I found a cool LCD4 for like a deal, like in that $2,200 range, $2,300 range, the original LCD4, that'd probably be a buy for me. I'd like to hear it. I'd like to play with it, get it in here and try it out with some of these other headphones, you know. Very cool. Very cool. And the Audeze folks were great to me. Nothing but praise for them. Mo Carver, that vinyl is his absolute favorite. Digital Oliver, yeah. I think, yeah, I mean, you know, your best stuff on vinyl, there's something cool about, you know, and the other part of it is this. This is the other part of it, is the emotional connection to music. We all have it. We all have it. I remember where I was when I heard, pick your song, REM for the first time. And I wasn't even like, I was, you know, my friend and I were like, listened to Fables of the Reconstruction or Reconstruction of the Fables, depending if you got the CD or the album. I forget which one. The album was labeled Fables of the Reconstruction. The CD, if you bought the CD, it was labeled Reconstruction of the Fables. It was twisted. Why I'm holding on to that piece of knowledge, I have no idea, but I am. And like REM, I'd heard that, but like my first super exposure was when I got to college, because I went to Southern Illinois University at Carbondale, Illinois, which was a bit of a party school, maybe at the time, but they had an independent radio station there that was actually known around the country. It's called WIDB, and they were like alt rock. They were one of the very first alt rock exclusive channels, and it was just the coolest. Like they played the coolest music. Like it was all the REMs and the U2s, but before they were, you know, before they made their deals and got huge, like when they were still in that genesis of like early Talking Heads versus when they, you know, by the time they got to Speaking in Tongues, they were this massive mega group. And, you know, they had Jonathan Demme filming, you know, documentaries about them. Well, that was around that time that got groups like, you know, the Violent Femmes. You had the Morrissey's band, the Smiths, were huge, like so big on that, in that college scene. And the Replacements, another one, you know, Tim and Bastards of Young and all those great, I mean, fantastic. Pleased to Meet Me. What a great frickin' group that was, you know. But all of that was playing on so you have this emotion. I have a tie to that time because of because just of what I was going through back then, and the friends you made in college, and like what that time was for me, and so music is like that, and vinyl is a big part of that, because I was collecting vinyl back then. So I remember where I bought the record. I can't tell you where I bought the digital file, the, you know, 15th reissue of Jimi Hendrix's Are You Experienced, remixed for 2019, this time in 96K, you know, whatever. It's like, there's no tie to that. There's no emotional tie to that, because it's just like, it's a file I bought on the internet, download, and I can play it. And it's great that I can play it. I like the music, but you don't have the tie to the time of your life when you know, went out and bought the record or heard the record for the first time. Just different time. Beer, Voodoo Ranger Imperial. I like the sound of that. I don't know what it is, but it sounds dangerous, and I am all about danger. If it's dangerous, I'm in. Recording quality trumps format wars. Well, yeah, you know, a well-recorded master, you can get. I'm trying to think of a good example. Okay, you can get early Kinks. Those were pretty crappy recordings. Those early Kinks recording, or the Kingsmen, or, you know, whatever. You can get those recordings on digital, but the source was so bad, and they were using crap mics, and, you know, it was kind of a grungier sound anyway. And some say that that's the charm of it, but that, like, from an audiophile perspective, yeah, not the best recordings, right? I think we can, you know, even the Beatles, the first couple, they didn't, their sonics improved greatly over, you know, they became more attuned to the studio process and how to better mic and how to better, you know, record Ringo's drums, and, you know, there were aspects that were there. I mean, and without question, the performance, the musicianship was there from the very beginning. But the quality of the recordings, the quality of the music got much better as the group progressed and got, some years under them and studio experience and worked with EMI and all of that. So those later recordings, they're magical. There's something magical about the way they were recorded, and they sound fantastic. The Steely Dan stuff, the Pink Floyd, also recorded at the same studio as the Beatles recorded. They're all at EMI, Abbey Road. Dark Side of the Moon, and all of those were recorded at Abbey Road for the most part. There were some side sessions and things done, but the magic of that room it was special, and the recording quality of Dark Side of the Moon is there's very little that was recorded better than that record. I was listening in the car on the way today. I had to go run a couple of errands, and Dark Side of the Moon's playing. I'm like, it sounds so good. It's such a, the bass representation and the drums and the choir and the screen, the singing of the ladies that they had on that, like on Great Gig from the Sky and Brain Damage Eclipse, and the woes and all of that. I mean, it's just it'll lift you. It's the reason everybody, when we were younger, I wasn't actually one of these people, but I had a bunch of friends. I'll get high and listen to Pink Floyd because it would like lift you to take you to another place. Now I'm old, and it was funny. I was never like into the altering stuff. I guess a little bit here and there, but it was never like I never got into it. And I still have friends today that are still like, they like their smoke. How do we get there? I think the quality, so quality trumps, the quality is definitely a thing. Actually getting the new Momentum 250, this is from ML Jenkins, getting the new Momentum S250 MXV stereo amplifier from Dan. There you go. I don't know it. Oh, wait. Oh, ML Jenkins is getting the new Momentum. Folks, I know what he's talking about. I read it first, and it didn't, here's what he's talking about, guys. I'm going to show you, and you're going to be like, your jaw's going to drop. Check this out. And I'm not sure where I can, let's see, Dan. Welcome to the world of Uberfi. I'll be your host and I'll be your host and your tour guide through this labyrinth that is Dan DiAgostino. And here's what our good friend is on the line to buy. Guys, look at this. Just look at this amp. Look at this amp. This thing's insane. This thing's insane. And I've heard these amps. There is nothing like these amps. These are the best amps built in the world, in my opinion. Look at these. Look at the windings. Dan DiAgostino, man. The dude, and the reason I like my Krell stuff so much is because I bought my Krell. Dan used to work for Krell, and so he designed. We got a little loosey-goosey up here. What's going on? Okay. Don't want the mic to drop. Don't want a mic drop moment. But Dan, one of the greatest engineers in audiophile history, and designed shit like that. And I'm guessing he's talking about a $40,000 amplifier. Pretty sure. I mean, Dan's stuff is not cheap. Then maybe it's 18, but at any rate, I don't remember what the difference between the 250 and the 400 are. But what's $20,000 amongst friends? Jesus. Nephilim 1, by the way, that's work on the line. Okay. It's nothing crazy important. LCD4 is a bass cannon. And the only headphone that can rival it is the D8000, the Abyss 1266. Well, I have the Abyss, so maybe I'm signing myself up for pardon me, burp. an experience I've already had. I haven't heard the D8000. That's the headphone on the long-term list. It's a headphone I want to get in here, but it's nothing that I'm like dying to get in here tomorrow. But it is a headphone that I want to hear. That would make a great, a great review. Audio 46, hook me up. Bobby James Faison, maybe in year 2. In a year or two, the Susvara or whatever the King Openback is going to bring on his trucking adventures. Bobby James Faison, you a trucker? Oh, okay. Cheers to that, man. By the way, did you guys check out, it was John Oliver last weekend or the weekend before, did a thing about truckers. It's like amazing the shit people go through as a trucker. It's like, dude, hats off to you. That just unbelievable. Yeah, if you're trucking, if you're driving a truck across, yeah, you need. I mean, that would be the one thing that I couldn't. The whole point of taking that job is that so I could listen to all my music. Like I could just go on an 18-hour journey somewhere and listen to music and make money at the same time. But as this John Oliver Last Week Tonight episode revealed, you don't wind up not making a lot of money in certain situations. It's really crappy. Well, hell yeah, brother, to Bobby James Faison, mother trucker. That's awesome. That is awesome. That's great. Yeah. Estelle Kern CA1000 or whatever. Probably. Yeah. I mean, you're way ahead of the game here. Everything you mentioned in that post, the Thieaudio, Broadway, Diablo, Estelle Kern CA1000. Yeah, you're gold. Those are great things. Nephilim, cheers to you. Glad you're here. Glad you're all here. Appreciate all you guys for stopping by today. I remember you're saying that the DC Stealth headphones didn't impress me. No, it didn't. I don't think I should discount that headphone. It sits very close to the Harman target. I would have to spend some time with them. My first listen was like, where'd the bass go? That was really like I was sitting there. I was like, I'm like, where'd the bass go? What happened? They did not impress me. I'm like, they're thin. What impressed me was like how quiet they were. Like you put them on, it was like the best isolation I've ever heard in a headphone ever. It was truly remarkable how quiet those headphones are when you put them on. That impressed me. So yes, I would definitely. That's a headphone that it would have to be sent to me. It's not a headphone that I want to rush out and spend my money on, and Lord knows I spend money on enough dumb crap already. By the way, I'm going to Vegas next week. Just letting you know. Well, there goes at least according to the text I just got. So, yeah. Going to be in Vegas. That's going to put our show off a day. 2 days probably. Great. Andrew Lynch, hello all. Hello, says Abdullah in return. How can I test speed on a headphone? I pull out detailed tracks because to me speed is about how fast that diaphragm can reproduce detail. So there are tracks that I listen to. One in the upcoming episode was The Chain by Fleetwood Mac, and there's a section at the end where Stevie and Lindsay are screaming out, "Chain, keep us together," and a headphone that's fast will keep those voices separated. A slower headphone will kind of blur them. There's telling you a couple other things in there, but it's about mid-range response and stuff. But that's something that's like an example of something that I would listen for to check out speed. I listen to the crispness of drums in some of the greater drumming tracks. That Macy Gray album has some tremendous drums on it. Something that's got Rush great drums. Anything that's got like you listen to the way the attack on the drums is reproduced. A fast headphone will give you very precise, like you'll hear the snap of the stick on the skin and the you know, amazing stuff. That's like that's speed to me. That's what I. And I would bet that there are other people in the business who define speed differently than I do. Because I think we all play a little fast and loosey with some of these terms. What am I drinking for the happy hour? Well, today it's iced tea because I've got to go back to work after the happy hour, unfortunately. The question is, what are you all drinking for the happy hour? I want to know. Mr. Number One here, Relentless Amp and Preamp from Dan are unfathomably priced. Yes, I know. The Dan D'Agostino stuff is priced like it looks. And the one thing that I learned, the one thing that I learned in my trip to Audeze, or Audeze for me, the one thing I learned in my trip to Audeze is that it's not the cost of putting the headphone together, because the actual parts and the labor and all of that, you could do a headphone for, you know, $1,200 or whatever. Say, you know, just as pulling a number out of the air. For like the LCD5, it's probably not $1,200 worth of parts and labor all together, and then the rest of it is profit. But here's the problem: to make the first LCD5, it probably cost them millions. Like, because you've got to, they're working with a whole new driver membrane, which they have to invent a process to do it and to manufacture it and then make it replicatable, and then maybe it won't sound great and they need to tweak that, and then they've got to find the right magnets and the way they're laying the magnets out, and then, you know, they'll spend years developing that headphone. And I know for a fact they did spend years developing that headphone. And thank God they did, you know, and then the Carbon, you had the Carbon too. A headphone like the Carbon doesn't get made overnight. And the fact that they can even sell that for $4,500 is a steal. Like, when you consider all that they must have gone through for that, and it was all for the medical community, and then they adopted it to a consumer line. There's so much going on there. Like, it's the cost of that first headphone. That's the expense. And they have to build that into every headphone they sell. A little bit of that they got to get back with every headphone in order to turn a profit. Nobody wants to go and make a product to break even, except me. I make a show to go in the hole, apparently. Kill me. Bobby James Fearson. Faison. DCA Stealth Zeos tried them on different amps, and his channel said they're amp picky. That could be. This is my counter to that. I listened to it on 2 amps, one of which was the WA33. Right? WA33, which is arguably, you know, if not the top headphone amp out there right now, it's in the top 2 or 3. Like, you know, you throw a doily over in those top 3, you know, amps, and that's definitely one of them. Without question, that's one of them. And I wasn't all that impressed with it. So, is it amp? Could it be amp picky? Yeah, but I put it with the best amp I can think of. You know, like if you're gonna say, hey, you can listen to this LCD5 with any amp you want, and I'll give you any amp you want. And I'm like, oh yeah, the Hype Sauce is great, and the Bakun R, whatever, and then the WA33 sitting there. Guess which one I'm probably going to sit down at first? Tubes. Like, it's a beautiful sounding amp, and it's well made, and I know how much effort Jack Wood puts into those designs. Like, it's another product that is not slapped together. You open one of those amps up and take a look at the way it's wired and how careful they are about keeping things apart, and the winding, everything about the Woo stuff is extreme quality and extremely well laid out. And you pay a price for that, by the way. Hi. So yeah, maybe the Stealth is picky, but I've listened to it on 2 different amps, and neither one, I was kind of like, okay. I was more excited to hear the Noir, the Aeon Noir. That to me was a more impressive headphone. And their other closed back, the Dan Clark Ether C closed. And I got the CX closed here, and they didn't impress me. But the C closed did impress me when I heard them. Who knew? And that's just me. Everybody's got different ears, folks. You know, I'm not God. I don't know everything. I keep telling you at the beginning of every episode I'm an idiot. Why do you listen to me? Because it's fun, guys. It's fun. We're just having a good time. Music talk time. Loving the Manhattans, rhythm and soul. Yeah, Manhattans were great. The track of the day is "Kiss and Say Goodbye." Beautiful. Yeah, that's a good one. That would make me put that on when we get off the air. DC stealth requires a crap ton of power. Well, I mean, look, maybe they do, but if somebody's going to tell me that the headphone requires more than, say, the Susvara, and I've got Susvara, you know, like Susvara does pretty good on the WA33. So I don't know. I don't think that I agree that it takes a crap ton of power, but I'm like, there are more demanding headphones out there. The Abyss and the Susvara are certainly extremely demanding headphones, and I would say that, you know, so, and we were listening to I was listening to them on the WA33, and then I forgot what the other amp was, the first amp, when I tried them. It's okay. Look, I don't have to like everything, and if somebody else likes something, cheers to you, man. Go for it. It was just I listened to it and I was like, eh. So if I have the chance to hear it again, sure, I'll listen again. Of course I will. I reserve the right to be wrong about everything I've ever said in my entire life. That's called an out. Giving yourself an out. Lemon Snapple iced tea for the win. JTB coming through from New York. I love it. Happy Hump Day. Just joined Adnan. Adnan always brings something interesting. By the way, we're all celebrating because Audio Fool just took delivery today, as we were on the air, of his Susvara. That's pretty cool. That's a good day. Audio Fool's already won the day for us. He's probably gone. He's probably off listening to his Susvara now. Yeah. So how cool was that? That's a great day. And we also talked earlier in the episode about the brand new Campfire, just announced today. They're doing a planar magnetic headphone. They're joining that Timeless Camp and doing a planar magnetic IEM. So that's kind of cool. So we talked about that. And then we talked about how none of us can afford Dan D'Agostino except for this one person who's getting the Dan D'Agostino. I'm so jealous. I can't go back and find it. Somebody else find it. Somebody else write in the chat. Who's our Dan D'Agostino whore that we're all going to hate? We don't hate you. We admire you. So Adnan says, just joined. Michael is he's so stocked. I'm guessing he means stoked. He just got a pair of legendary, I guess, OG HE. Oh, the legendary OG HE6. Great headphone. We were just talking about, like, there are some headphones. We were talking earlier in the show about some headphones that are just special. They're just special, and that was a special headphone. I think that the HE1000 V2 was a special headphone. The HD800, the HD600, both of those headphones were there were landmarks and special, and there was something different about, you know, they were amazing. That was just what a great time, and it's a headphone that we still revere even today. And that says a lot. LCD2, the original LCD2, amazing headphone. I think that those are, there are some of those things out there that are just like, whoa, you know, they stand up, they hold the test of time. The old Sony one, So I just can't remember the name of it, but the Sony, yeah. And the classic one with the design we were talking about earlier. Same design as the R9, but it's the Sony. Can't remember it. Anyway, that there are some headphones that are just amazing, and yeah, you got a classic. You got a amazing. What are you going to pair it with, Adnan? Tell us what amp you're going to pair it with. Fleetwood Mac Songbird is a great track. Yes, Songbird is an amazing track. It's another one. Absolutely amazing song. That whole album, by the way, and that was a time. Like that was a time, and that was made not far from where I live. That album, and that's one of those that is one of those journeys I would love to take someday. I want to find. I've been to a lot of recording studios. I've never been to Sound City, and I want to find Sound City. And there's a great documentary on Sound City too. If you have the opportunity, check it out because that's where a lot of great music was made there, and they mixed Nevermind at Sound City. They didn't record it at Sound City, but they mixed it there. There is something special, and so yeah, crazy good. And they used, I believe, most of the microphones they used on that album were U87s, if I remember. I think I read that somewhere once. I've got those, and I've got a U87 here. So cool, the through lines. Dan Clark Stealth requires more current flow, not watts. This is a VRMS issue. Okay. I will defer to you guys because when you start getting into the numbers and stuff, I gotta bow. Like y'all are better at it than I will be. The Ether CX closed, bought it, and it is so good, except in the bass. He thinks the soundstage is also better than the 650. Yeah, I heard it. Abdullah, I put it on at the show, and I was immediately taken by it. I thought it was a great headphone, and I think I would love to put that headphone against the LCD XC. Because they share a lot of similarities. So I'd like to put... that would be a great shootout someday. If I could get both of them. We'll see. We'll see what happens. You never know. Landslide is a great Fleetwood Mac song. Yeah, I like... for tracks that I really audition, I like the Chain. Because it's got that great bass solo at the end. For you can really test out a sub bass on it. I like... Rhiannon is great. Tusk is another good one to listen to. Sarah is another good one. There's some really good stuff. Like their recording process, they made magic. They were like Steely Dan. They were Steely Dan of the like album oriented rock world. Where Steely Dan was kind of like the more like art rock, like kind of in the fusion, jazz fusion sort of rock. Real, nobody did, and both were exceptional, unbelievable. But yeah, and my point is, they're recording Supertramp's recordings, exceptional. Like there are those bands that just whoever they were hooked up with as far as producer, they had a great combination, or the band themselves really knew their shit in the studio, and they made magical recordings. And it's not just it's not just that the songs were great, because they are. It's that the recordings were special. They really nailed the recording and the mixing perfectly. And then a lot of them, they had great mastering engineers when they made made the original pressing, and that makes a difference too. The whole chain matters. It's like if you get a movie with a great director but a lousy cinematographer, it's going to look like hell. Doesn't matter how great that director is. You can't rescue bad cinematography or bad acting. If you have great actors and you have a lousy director, you're going to have exceptional performances that don't flow well together, and there's confusion going on. You're not clear about what the story is because it was directed poorly. All of these things, all these parts of the process, the producing, the talent, the playing, the performers, the engineers, the mastering engineers, all of it comes together to make a record. And any one of those comes apart and you've got yourself either a bad sounding record or bad performance or whatever. Where we at? Hipster Cow, am I planning to pick up the new ZMF Atrium? I don't know. That's my short answer. The problem is this. If I unload the $2,200 to buy that headphone, it's going to resell at about $1,500, maybe $1,400. I'm going to have to take about an $800 hit on that headphone. Am I willing to do that for the sake of a review? My inclination lately has been no. Buy a used headphone, buy headphones on the used market. So when I go to resell them, like the Stax SR009S, sold it for exactly what I paid for it. And that's a good day. That means I did a review. I got to spend some time with this headphone. I got to learn its nuances, and maybe, it wasn't for me necessarily, but I wasn't down money at the end of it all. That was the shipping costs. So that's where I need to be on the show to make this show work. Mr. Number One here. Damn, Susvara, what a lucky man. Yeah, I'm telling you, Audio Fool. There he is. He's back. Audio Fool is back. Mr. Susvara, the man who won Wednesday. Audio Fool. Okay. Nephilim 81, a special IEM, the Campfire Atlases. They are incredibly fun and have a mid-bass to die for. Nephilim, there are so many Campfire models. They have modelitis at Campfire. They need to simplify that lineup. It's too confusing. Like Andromeda, fine, but they really need to pare that whole lineup down. Now, we talked earlier today, by the way, if y'all missed it, y'all coming in late, Campfire has a brand new IEM, and we talked about it earlier today. It is called the Moonscape. Look it up. I'm not going to do it again. We did it earlier in the show. It was the first thing I talked about today. Moonscape. It is a planar magnetic, like the Timeless, 7 Hertz Timeless, planar magnetic IEM. Don't know what it sounds like. It looks like it has a little bit of a bass punch. That's from their little faux chart. It was just a bunch of lines, and they said the bass line was higher than everything else. So there you go. You recommend 5 modern day albums to show off your sound systems. I would do that as an episode. I don't want to take the time to do that here. I do point out records that impress me when I hear them. Check out the new, we were talking about this last week, and it's going to be on the episode that's coming this week. Episode 103 will be out. I'm hoping by Friday. I'm pulling for Friday. I'm about halfway done with cutting it. It's on this monitor right here. Like if I turned the camera over, you would see the timeline and how far I've gotten on it. And then I'm doing the mixing pass on this right now. And then I got to go back and do the visuals, and then we'll send it away off to you guys to see. Yeah, there's, I talk about it in that episode, the new album by Red Hot Chili Peppers. Fabulous new record. Check that out. It's good. It sounds good to me. Very interesting album. Very musical. There's a police chase on Channel 7 right now. That's what my Apple Watch iWatch is telling me. Whatever. Okay. If you're in LA, avoid the 105. I don't know where the chase is at. Supertramp. Okay. Oh, so where are we going? 5 modern albums. Yeah, I would do that. I'll do that as an episode sometime. I'll talk about my 5. I got to do a little bit more of that top 5 stuff, and it comes down to production time. I just got to find the time to do it. The effort is worth it. I liked my last top 5 I did. I did top 5 IEMs, which that has all been. There's only a couple that are left on that list from back then. It was like 6 or 7 months ago. It's amazing how fast things turn over. So yes, I would do that. I would do like 5 modern day albums to showcase. I would tell you that one of the albums would be Macy Gray Stripped. I'll give you that. Go buy the best quality Macy Gray Stripped album and put it on and prepare to have your jaw dropped. It's it is that impressive. It is a masterpiece of recording, and it's binaural recording, man. I mean, Chesky Records, and somebody with her voice. I mean, oh my God, it's amazing, amazing. Supertramp, Slay, most modern recordings. Yeah, they're really good. Especially the album that sits higher than most is Crime of the Century. Just unreal. Crime of the Century, Audio Fool. Yeah, you're right. Crime of the Century. That to me is their best recorded album. I like other things, even in the quietest moments. There are some fantastic tracks on even in the quietest moments. Breakfast in America was their biggest pop album, and then of course they lost Roger Hodgson, and the group went to shit, and Roger Hodgson's career went to shit. Get back together, boys. You should have done it back then. Pink Floyd did the same thing. They imploded after the wall, or after the final cut. Okay, go to songs for tracking. Queen's Dragon Attack has a bass solo, drum solo, guitar solo, vocal harmonies. It's the kitchen sink. Yeah, you gotta love that word. Like there's so much going on, and you're like, where did they come up with it? And my favorite thing is like you'll be listening to some records, and like all of a sudden you hear a horn. Like, who the hell brought a horn section into this song and thought that would be? And it worked. You know, it's so great. There's stuff like that. What are you driving your Susvara with? I have the Ferrum stack. That's what I'm driving my Susvara with. The Ore and the Hypsos. That's the stack I'm using now. I have reservations as to whether or not it is the best possible pairing for the Susvara. I talked about this a little bit earlier in this episode. I believe that this stack is absolutely the best you're ever going to hear out of the 1266 TC from Abyss. I think that's and I pointed because that's where they're sitting. They're up on a shelf right over here. I don't have them in the shot because it's, you know, it's a cool headphone show. It's not like I'm not trying to brag with all my Jesus, get over yourself, Michael. The Susvara, yeah, the Susvara. I think that I really want to hear it with the Bakun. Everything I've read, everybody says the Bakun is special with the Susvara. So that's the amp I would like to hear it with. The problem is, everybody go look up Bakun right now. It's like six grand for the amp. So you got to find it used. And the problem is when somebody goes to sell one, and it's like, you know, whatever, $4,800, it's gone before it's, you know, like the second it's out. You got to be just on top of it and ready to buy. Finishing up here, we're going to do the last couple, and then we'll say goodbye for the day, and we'll join y'all again in another Director's Garage Live. And I've got the new episode coming out again this week, later. It's going to feature a brand new What's in the Box. It's a What's in the Box that I know about. It was not a blind What's in the Box. Something I purchased, and I'm happy to show them off to you guys. You're going to check that out in the next episode. And the episode after that, I think, is going to be a review, a sound check of those Biodynamic headphones that I got to show off, that they sent me like one of the first editions of. It was that's the problem with doing this show. Like if I'm not up on everything, what I didn't, you know, I opened up, these are the Biodynamic new DT900, DT700, very cool, they're very nice, and you know, I'm like, I know that they're kind of like that in the $300-ish range, somewhere in there. I'm like, and so, but then what I realized after I got done shooting that episode and it's in post is Okay, this is a brand new headphone, and Audio 46 sent me something that they apparently just got in. So it really is kind of special, and I should pay attention to it more because they were brand new headphones. So, and that's part of the problem with doing the blind what's in the box is I don't always have an appreciation of it while I'm shooting, and I'm being truthful with you guys. I'm not going to go back and reshoot something after I've just to make myself look smart. I'm going to when I go to do that episode, I'm gonna have to do a mea culpa at the top and go, you know what, I really screwed up. I didn't realize these were brand new headphones that just hit the market, and Audio 46 was so cool to send them to us like they're one of their very first ones they got in so that we could review them on the show. Like, that was a misstep on my part, but I can't go back and correct it after I'm in post and, you know, realizing the mistakes I made. Michael on this. Okay, so I'm going to get through the last few, and then we'll and then we'll say goodbye today. I do appreciate you guys joining us today for the happy hour Humpday hangout. This is a good time for me, and I hope that this continues to grow as the channel grows. And we're up to 3.9. We have 100 subscribers to go, and we're at 4K, folks. 100 subscribers. Oh, that is Mrs. Director chiming in.
Oh, are you with your people?
I'm with my peeps. We're live to the world. Live to the world.
Well, I'm just going to put on my pink headphones and go to my own world.
I talked about those pink headphones in this episode.
I love my pink headphones.
Something to be said for pink headphones, folks. Nephilim, Michael, I own the XC for 4 years now. I can attest these are great headphones. Yeah, it's a headphone that I definitely was impressed by, and it's a headphone I want to hear. So, yeah, and too much on Campfire. Yeah, and I totally agree with that. Abdullah says, is a high-end amp 2,000 or 3,000, 2K or 3K? Are they a lot better than the normal amps like the AAA 789? I can't answer to the AAA 789. I don't own one. I can tell you from my experience, when you get to the $2,000 or $3,000 level in an amplifier, there is a jump. That said, there are some great amps at $1,000. I mean, Burson's amps, great at $1,000. The shit amps, rated $1,000 and under. Don't discount those. It's just you know, when you spend the thing is this: when you spend $6,000 on a headphone, you should not expect to be able to drive it with a $900 product. As great as the Diablo is for a portable, and it can drive them, you're not getting anywhere near the best out of the Susvara off of the Diablo. You're not, because I can tell you that when I put it on the Ferrum stack here, they get much, you know, the gain is significant. So yeah, there you go. Beach Boys had good songs like Lady Linda. Yeah, Beach Boys, fantastic. I'm a huge Beach Boys fan. I'm a huge fan of Brian Wilson. Met him a bunch of times, and just fantastic. Big fan of the Beach Boys. That Pet Sounds album and the stories behind it, amazing. Again, watch the Wrecking Crew. That Wrecking Crew documentary is phenomenal. Fantastic, and they talk about that whole time Brian coming in and recording Pet Sounds while the band was on the road. Tells you how good the Wrecking Crew was. Spider on the window. How you been, buddy? I've been great. A little tired. We're at the mid part of a week, and having a great time here, and I'm glad I could join you guys today. We've got an episode coming out, I'm thinking later this week. I'm going to push to have that done. It just comes down to the rest of my work week. Fantastic. Pray for a Bakun soon. I agree. And then our last comment of the day we're going to go with is, Michael, I could talk music with me all day. I know. I'm a music nerd. I'm a music nerd before I'm even a headphone nerd. I should maybe be doing a music show, but it's the headphones that sell. People don't come in, I don't think, to talk music enough. I think that they're more interested in the technology end of it. And then my point is that the music is as equal, if not more important, to the equation. Am I still enjoying just for Tipping Point? Yeah. Sure. I think that I think it's an interesting record, and I think it's so good to hear those guys again play again. Yeah, maybe it pales a little bit recording wise. I haven't actually stacked it up, and probably haven't. It's one of those albums I listened to a couple of times, and I haven't returned to it in recent weeks because I got other things going on. But I enjoyed it. Boy, I enjoyed hearing those guys sing again, and their voices haven't diminished at all. That's the cool thing. So that's it, folks. I'm going to wrap it up right here today. I want to thank you guys for joining me on the Humpday Happy Hour edition of the Director's Garage and the 4-H Club. And I want you guys to have a safe rest of your week. Have a good rest of your week. Be productive, be happy, and listen to a lot of music. I'm going to start our little goodbye music. Where'd it go? It's here somewhere. Outro. Close. There we go. Play. That is the music you all know as the goodbye music. Again, guys, thanks again for coming out and dropping by. I so appreciate you all, and I'll see you soon. I'll see you in episode 103. It'll be coming end of the week, early next week. Well, who knows? Hopefully the end of the week, though. And really enjoyed spending time with you guys today. Good talk, good chats, and y'all are really interesting folks, and that's the best part. Okay, see you guys later.